Hi. Hello. I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. I almost forgot what day it is. I feel like this week just started and it already feels really hectic. I've been so busy at work this week. Way busier than I anticipated. But I hope everyone's having a good week so far. It's been really nice here, so like even though it's busy, I feel like I've been enjoying the weather. It's like been so lovely. Though I say I've been enjoying the weather, but I don't think I've actually gone outside. I went outside Sunday. I forgot. But I haven't done like anything to actually enjoy the weather aside from like going grocery shopping. I've just kind of been in my house, busy with everything I'm working on. But anyway, it's time for an art stream. Just this chibi model looks different than what we worked on. We worked on the chibi model like the last stream, and I ended up like scrapping most of it. I like worked on it, and then I realized like when I like ended stream and I started doing some more work on it, I realized I was like how this looks at all. I was not a fan. So I spent some time during my lunch break re-sketching stuff. I figured I was like, okay, if I'm gonna put in all the work to do a chibi model, let me make sure I like how it looks. Because there's just no way I'm going to like rig something I don't like. Now I'm way happier with this sketch. I think it also helps. I've been since the first art stream with the new tablet, I was working a lot on just random drawings, and now I feel a lot more comfortable using Clip Studio Paint with this tablet. I feel like I was not as I was so Procreate pilled that I don't remember how to use like a actual desktop tablet. Also, I don't know where my pen went. Oh, there it is. Okay. The sketch is kind of rough though, so I still think it's gonna be a little, it's not gonna be that fun, but we'll make the best of it. I also need to do a symmetry. So today's goal is maybe getting through the line art of this. It likely won't be too long of a stream, because like I said, I realize I am busier than I anticipated. There's some like responsibilities I thought I didn't have that I do have on my plate, and then I realized I probably need to like crunch and put in the extra hours to get those done because the deadline's coming up, which is really rare in my job. We're typically not like a crunch and get things done and overwork ourselves. Usually we're like, oh, no one's going to die. No one's gonna die, so we should take our time. And still no one's gonna die. To clarify, no one's gonna die, regardless if this work is done or not. I just think we're like so behind on things that they probably would prefer if things were done on time in a timely manner. I spent a lot of time trying to think about how I want to do this model. as always, like I end up looking at a lot of, I looked at a lot of chibi models I do like, because I want to take, you know, that's what you do as an artist. You just kind of take inspiration. Being an artist is just taking legal inspiration from others. You can't like trace, and you shouldn't trace or copy anyone. It's about what you can like get away with. This stream and some gaming is just what I need after my class to say, oh, I'm glad. I also want a game, but I think the reason I want to game is, well, the reason this short stream is going to be likely short is because I want to game. It's Zeno! Hi, Zeno! OMG! You're catching us at an art stream. We're working on our little chibi model. Look how adorable I look. Hi, Ripko! Thank you for checking in. Isn't it cute? I got a new tablet, so I've now finally, like, I feel like I am at my full potential now because I get to work on Clip Studio Paint. I forgot, like, how powerful Clip Studio Paint is. It's just, like, so much nicer. Oh, I was also working on a different drawing. We're not gonna work on this. We're not gonna work on this stream, but I was working on this nice little Nimi drawing yesterday, just for funsies. I was just really happy with how it was looking, but I gotta finish that later. That's not the goal of this. That's not the goal of this stream. Yeah, I really liked how the rendering came out here, especially on the dress and the hair and the eyes. That's not what we're working on. You'll see that posted. I think I've been enjoying working on Clip Studio because you can do so many. It's so much easier to work with like all the layer effects, because I feel like working on layers on Procreate it's kind of annoying. So I've been using like a lot of like multiply layers and like and soft light layers. It's just cool. Yeah, there is just so much stuff. This drawing also, like, I use the 3D model program, like you can make 3D model figures and then like pose them, and I forget like how like convenient that is to be able to just like pose a 3D model in your program, like write what you're drawing and then just draw over it. It's like, oh, you don't have to like search up so many references. You can just like pose a model right here. It's so nice. It's so nice. I want to take more advantage of it for backgrounds, but I haven't drawn anything yet that uses like extensive 3D background modeling. But I feel like I should. Anyway, now I'm just wanting to think about how I want to do the line art here. I still didn't download the brushes I wanted. There's so many brushes. That's also another thing that's so nice about it. There's just so many nice brushes. The asset store. I was going crazy. I actually never really used the asset store. Like the last time I used Clip Studio Paint, it wasn't that big. There wasn't that many options. But then I went through the list and there's just so many things you can download that are like so many, like it's not cheating, but it just low-key, it really does feel like you're cheating. It's like, oh my gosh, you're telling me I don't have to draw a zipper? I can just download zippers, assets like that, like a brush that makes a zipper? That's crazy. Hello, Gren. And there's so many like, there were so many like also science 3D model assets that you can use. Like, you can just download 3D models of like Flask and stuff. Granted, I want to say, no one has to apologize. You don't have to listen. You don't have to listen to anything. This is just, I am just here, and you can check in and check out whenever. There's no need to apologize. Okay, do I want? Yippee! Yeah, you can use the there's so many. I uploaded a lot of the free emote slots. Thank you for checking in, Gren. When I like first help people with their Twitch channels, I didn't there was like no free slots you can use for follower emotes. Don't you know why? Well, why must you do this? Oh no, your Warframe mission didn't go well? Oh, you got this though. I believe in you, Ren. Speaking of video games, I was playing a lot of Expedition 33 this weekend, and it's a pretty hard game, but I'm also playing it on the hardest difficulty. And I think there's like an optional, I think it's an optional boss. It took me like 2 hours of like fighting that thing. And it's like, it feels silly to say that because it's like you would think like a turn-based game, it just shouldn't take that long. But it was really, really hard. You also have to I was just sucking at dodging and parrying. But like, it's such a huge, it was like the biggest bam, like, I just keep getting bonked. I'm not even doing anything wrong and I'm just getting bonked. And when I finally accomplished it, I've never felt so satisfied in a video game. Something about that game is really, 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 really satisfying. Like, I think it's just dodging and parrying. Just because, you know, in a turn-based game, usually it's about your own strategies, but there's usually not as many strategies as there really can be. The games aren't usually that balanced. Strategy games are really, turn-based strategy games are just really hard to balance. It's really easy to find what the optimal way to play is. That game, it just feels like there is an optimal way to play, but then also it's because you have to do the real-time dodging, makes it feel even more satisfying. For the autoclave, I didn't do anything. I'm so it sucks that I'm not playing that game on stream because of the fact I'm putting so many hours into the game. And then I'm like, I just want to keep playing it. Even right now, I'm like, I wish I could play it right now. But I don't think my computer. I'm sure that's one of the things I want to work on is making an asset for that. The hammer is like a free to use asset, but I would have to draw and animate something for the autoclave. But that's in the works. There's so many things to do. But it's in a good way, in a fun way. There's so many things to do. There's for the redeems, there's also, I want to do the ethanol spray, like a spray bottle, because that's typically what you use to kill bacteria. You just spray them with 75% alcohol. That one shouldn't be so bad. There's free to use spray bottle assets, but I don't. They're not that good looking. So I'm I'm just gonna make my own. Shouldn't be. The autoclave one is definitely more difficult. I have an idea in my head of how it would look. There's also one I want to do where you like can give me LB media because you want me to thrive. So many assets I need. This would all be easier if I was just infinitely wealthy and I could just commission everything I wanted. But alas, here I am working on everything myself. Also, I was even thinking of like while I work on this chibi model, I remember I said I don't think I would want to rig another model myself. I would probably pay someone for it. And then here I am working on another model by myself. I'm probably gonna get really frustrated. I can already feel it. I'm gonna get frustrated when I have to rig this thing. It's just so annoying. Rigging, it's like I think I have a love-hate relationship with rigging. I think it's fun because it's so different than anything I've ever done. But oh my gosh. It just takes so much it takes so much practice. It's such a different skill. You also just need to play around with things, and it's hard. It's so hard to play around with things there because you just don't. Maybe this is like a me problem, but I have a hard time playing around with things when I don't know exactly what effect I'm looking for. And so if I don't know what effect I'm looking for, I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to play around with something to find out what I'm looking for. And then I just get frustrated. I'm like, well, I want to do XYZ. And then they're like, and then you look it up and people are like, yeah, just mess around with the settings and you'll be able to do that. And I'm like, what settings? I don't know what you're talking about. And then that motivates me to like learn even more and I want to like get better at it. That's you in 3D. Have you been doing any like 3D work? I want to get back into that too. I got like a email about a 3D, like a Colosso, the big art website that sells classes. They had like a deal for a 3D modeling class. And I was like, do I want to do that? It's like $200. There's like free resources I should just use. Oh, you have? That's fun. What, any good progress you've made? Or are you like, I know a lot of people, their first like 3D project, mine included, was making the 3D donut. That's like the famous YouTube lesson. I just get oh no. No. I'm the same way. It's actually so dizzying to do motion to do the 3D work. I remember I was making like the 3D donut and I was like rotating it around really fast because I wanted to see like what I'm messing up on, and I got really sick. I was like, that's enough for me. Oh, you got the basics down. Oh, nice. I think even getting the basics down of Blender, it's really hard. There's so many different buttons. And you also have to do everything's like on a shortcut. That's how I was like when I watched the lessons. They would be like, yeah, do like, push control alt this to do this. And I think they really want you to learn the shortcuts because it's too time consuming to navigate through menus. I feel like it's like a poor UI. It's like not a very good UI if you have to learn shortcuts. But I also get that it's an incredibly complicated program. I know people complain Clip Studio Paint is like very poor UX UI design. I know a lot of beginner artists, they go from I'm trying to think of what people use, like Ibis and Paint Tool Sai, which are like so much more simplified art programs, and then they go to Clip Studio Paint and they're like, what the heck is this? Why are there like 30 buttons? the Ibis finger painters. That's a whole demographic. It's crazy. They're all really young, is what I've learned. They're just on their phones painting these portraits. I'm like, wow, go. They're actually pretty good. Though I think I went on Reddit the other day, and I think their subreddit, the Ibis Paint subreddit, like got recommended to me, and I clicked on one thing, and now I just get recommended threads from there, and oh my gosh, you can tell that these people that use this program and are in part of that like Reddit community, they're very young. Like all the threads are like, what am I, a beginner, intermediate, or expert artist? What is my art taste like? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this like, I can't handle this. I can't. I feel like I felt like I was aging every time one of those threads popped up. Oh, or stuff like, how old do you think I am? And it's like, I don't want to be rude, but your art says I can tell you are clearly very young. Not in a rude way. I'm not being rude or anything. Yeah, it's just TikTok brain rot. I think that's how like a lot of people communicate, like in the art TikTok. I have not ventured much into art TikTok, though I know I should, because it's probably a good demographic for me to grow there. But it feels like there's, yeah, that is kind of like how it's like all like engagement baity. It's like, what does my art taste like? What does it smell like? Can you tell that I'm 13 when I draw with this art? Looks like some of the speculative evolution subreddit, which for some reason a lot of little kids, it's like, are you trying to have us come up with your stuff for you? I think it's interesting. I feel like, as someone who's been on Reddit for like a while, there feels like there's like there's been like a mass immigration of really young people there, or at least in a lot of subreddits. It just feels like there's so many young kids, like very, very obviously, like very, very young kids that probably need adult supervision. I mean, it's not like I don't want to be like, I hate the young people. It's definitely not just speculative evolution. I feel like anything with like art and also video games, anime related, all those subreddit community, not down with the youngs, not down with the young. I don't want to say we hate the kids. The kids, we need to foster them. Like, we need to foster their healthy, make sure they're in a good community. I just want the kids to be safe. It's so easy for the kids to not be safe. Okay, I forgot. This is for like a VTuber model, so I can't just draw in the same way. Let me not do that. Kids are wonderful people, and when I was young, I hated when adults would say you kids are so stupid. I mean, those. I feel like that's not that different. Okay, well, I'm talking about more young kids. I feel like people are like, there's a lot of animosity towards like Gen Alpha and Gen Beta. And you know, they're kind of stupid, but I feel like most generation of kids are stupid, and it's like stupid if you don't think your generation was stupid as kids. My generation was definitely stupid as kids. I don't even think of it as like, it's not even like a decline either. There's some like things I think are declining in skill. Like I know I think starting even with Gen Z just is worse at using computers, and it just has been going downhill since like millennials. I don't think it necessarily means they're stupid. Like, yeah, maybe the young kids nowadays, they don't know how to use the file explorer system in their computer because all they know is Google Drive. They're not stupid. You could teach them probably if you gave them the time. Yeah, it's more like what I learned, at least for Americans. It's because a lot of kids, they grow up with tablets and Chromebooks, and those are just like glorified tablets basically. And so they don't really know much of like how a file explorer works. They like are usually told to put things in Dropbox or Google Drive or some kind of cloud system. She actually will close himself in the utility room, and she's yelling at. I don't know if that's dumb. I think that might be just lazy. But yeah, the kids, they are not very good. I think there were statistics that showed that like technological literacy is basically it's on a decline with every generation. Everyone assumed that you know, tech people would be more tech savvy, but it has not been happening. I think it has to do with the simplification of things. We became so advanced that we oversimplified things. Sounds like your sister is maybe on the lazier side, maybe taking advantage of you, but maybe I mean, isn't that kind of smart? She knows how to get what she wants. I don't know how many eyelashes I want. Maybe I'll add one more. But yeah, that's all to say. I think the Gen Alphas and Gen Betas, they've got. I also don't think we've set them up very well to succeed. I feel like we haven't been doing a good job keeping up with teaching anything. So advanced, but we're kind of setting them up for failure. There's also a lot of discussion I always hear about how people hate seeing kids on like online spaces, and I kind of get that. Earlier today, there's like a video that dropped on Twitter, and there was a lot of discourse about it. I don't know. It was like a short indie film from a art student, and it was like okay. I got what they meant, but you can tell that a lot of like young people were commenting on like how to interpret this art student's film. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys need to go back to your like 6th grade class. Like the skills are not there yet to dissect this kind of media, and that's okay. That's okay. No one should expect them to be. They just literally are too young or inexperienced, not knowledged, ignorant in like the nicest way possible. But like, oh my gosh, I can't stand like seeing like discourse from people who I click on their profile and it says 16 and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's because I shouldn't be on the same platform as like a minor. But unfortunately, there's no child like platform. Back in my day, the kids were on the kids websites. There's no kid websites anymore. There's no forum you can just be part of for tomfoolery as a kid with other kids. Like every place you go to is just every place that you can have a discussion is too like it's such a mixed bag. Bad bag. I was once banned when I was studying from an art store. We're talking about school because apparently. Oh, okay. Yeah, like it's just that's stuff like that. I think it's really hard to avoid. I don't like should a 14. Obviously, when I was young, I had like little mod permissions for like random groups we had, but they were just all a bunch of kids and we were just all being stupid together. Like fellow like 13-year-olds. It just feels weird when you get into like now there's people pretty old, much older than you. Anyway, this is all to say bring back like anime dress up forums. Anime dress up forums, the server was really large. Well, that's even worse. I think Discord does. I don't blame Discord. I know there's a lot of people that make a lot of allegations about how Discord is a creepy platform, etc., etc. It's unfortunate there are kids who are like running large servers when they probably have no right to be doing that. I feel like if you're under a certain age, maybe you should only have like a server of like 5 people. Like that's like the biggest server you can be part of. Because that's kind of how I felt like when I was a kid. All my friend groups were like really tiny online. I'm trying to think. I guess I should make the head. But even like the anime forums I was part of, it's not like it was like completely adult. Like there was no adults. There were adults there, but I feel like it was pretty clear. It was pretty clear when you were a child on the anime dress up forum. And also, it was all about anime dress up. There was like there was no such thing as serious discourse going on. You didn't talk about your real life. Also, I feel like that's a different thing. I have like a very different experience growing up. It's like when I was young, I was told don't tell anyone, any personal information, but I feel like I know a lot of people or kids, they just like tell everything. I was told not to tell my age, my name, anything. But nowadays, everyone, like, people just share their ages like that. I don't even like, I mean, to this day, I don't like sharing my age or any personal info. Like, identifying. Like, I don't mind sharing, like, experiences. But you won't catch my, like, age being dropped randomly. Whereas sometimes I go click and then you can just see that someone is, like, 15. 15 and sometimes, like, a list of, like, everything they've done in their life in their card link. Kind of wild. Yeah, you have to be 13 on Discord. Yeah, but I think it's easy. It's always easy to circumvent those things. I know there's a lot of like push. People wish that Discord implemented like age verification, but I think people would still. I think it would end up maybe not being that effective. You just really never know what someone can do with information. I think there was a time I was in like a little Discord, like it's a relatively medium-sized Discord server, and there was a young person there, and they just started talking about everything, and I was like, oh, okay. I feel like I need to leave now. I feel like I need to like look away from this channel until all that information is gone. But then it's like, I guess I was not like I didn't have any mod or like mod powers in that server. It would be up to like mods to go, hey, don't do that. I don't know. Internet safety. As an adult, I want to protect minors that come my way. If you are a minor, I will protect you from the weirdos. But also, I will teach you stop telling me all your personal information. I can protect you, but you also have to be wary. Yay, a head pat, no bonk. Thank you. Oh, okay. Okay. I guess I'll take that head pat into bonk true combo. Speaking of true combo, there was like a melee tournament, Super Smash Bros. Just a melee tournament this weekend, and I didn't like watch a single thing of it. I should go back and watch that. I love melee. I just forgot it was on. It was such a busy weekend. There were so many things I wanted to watch. There was the TFT tournament, and then there was that, and then there was a lot of like weird news in the VTuber space that I like was surprised to see. Aw, that's cute, Wilbur. But I just like, because of all the things that were happening this weekend, I just ended up missing the Melee tournament. I heard, I kind of got spoiled about who already won, but I just wanted to watch it. I was so sad to hear that Zane lost. What's the tea on the VTubers? Have you seen any of it, Zeno? I will hydrate. Well, to begin with, there's like a lot of graduations in Hollow. You live under a rock, it's okay. to begin with, there's a lot of graduations in Hololive. I think there's basically been there's going to be 3 graduations, but that wasn't like the big drama. That was kind of like the overarching drama, like an overarching thematic, not really drama. The indie VTuber space was like really drama filled. Just a big indie VTuber is found out she was being very manipulative to her artist, the one that drew her model, and then to the people that she like collabs with and her friends. And then she got like 10 Google Docs dropped on her for being not a very nice person. And yeah, it doesn't look, it's not looking so it's not looking so good for her. I don't know what she's gonna do. But there was like, I'm not gonna comment on like how she treated like people, but her treatment of her artist was not very nice. Like she asked like her artist to like cancel other commissions and try to be exclusive to her because she wants she wants to feel special, only being like having her as an artist instead of other people like being able to have her art. Not very like nice. Ah, thank you for the head pat. So the problem I think she's gonna have is I don't think it's gonna be really hard for her to want artists to work with her. If that's like if she's not treating her artists nicely. Okay, and it's getting messed up because I have this metric on. I'm not like super deep into the indie VTuber spaces. I am much more of like a corporate Hololive kind of VTuber watcher. So I have like no say. I didn't really have any say like what was going on. I was busy being sad about Mume, Shion, and Gura's graduation. Yeah, she did. She graduated like I think it was last week now. Very sad. I think she talked about how she wanted to kind of explore something new. She was there since she was like really young, like 16. I'll hydrate one more time. And I think it's fair for somebody to probably go like, I should see what else is out there. It's actually not water. I didn't bring my water. I didn't refill it, so I'm just drinking ginger ale. It's not much of hydration, but it's a tasty treat. Ginger ale boarding. And then Mume was a sad graduation. I think that one was really sad because it didn't seem like she wants to leave. But her health was not looking so hot. I think there's something like very sad when about, you know, you have to leave because your health is not in a good spot rather than I'm leaving because I'm not happy with the company or my job. You can hit the hydrate button again if you want. I will take another sip of ginger ale. So when the ginger ale is out, I will not be able to hydrate anymore. Channel point. He got acute water toxicity. Oh my lord. Okay, I feel like this is like a skill diff. There's no way you why did he drink that much water? That looks good. I forget, it's so complicated doing the layering. I get so confused about what layers I need to work on. We kept redeeming hydrate. Okay, but here's the thing. The channel points don't make you put the water in the mouth. This is a personal... There's a personal action of water to mouth. I think that's how I want it. I really want to take advantage. I want to take advantage of the puppet warp tool they have in not Procreate, in Clip Studio Paint now. But I heard it's really useful for checking how your rig will look like based on your setup. But I just have not played around with that at all. I lied. I wasn't there. That's what he told me. My lord. What if I just add a random bank right here? Who's gonna stop me? Me, when I realize it's annoying to rig an additional piece of hair floating. That's okay. I feel like this is another case of Nico didn't sketch well enough and now I'm just making stuff up on the fly. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun that way. Also, I need a better system of how to label layers while I'm working. Because my current setup right now, I have tablet in front of me, my phone, my screen is to the side, like my monitor. Then my keyboard is like 90 degrees to me. And it's too awkward to like turn and type on the keyboard to change the layers. Ow! What am I doing? I'm not doing anything. And also, I think this is like a case of I need to like move my monitors. I have some auto actions. Oh, that's a good point. Auto actions would be helpful. Oh, you're so genius, Zeno. I'm like looking at my layers right now because we're already at like layer 15 because like everything needs to have different lines. I'm totally not looking for excuse to bonk. I feel like I don't know. I'm jealous of some artists. I feel like their table setup is so nice. Like I've seen like they have a huge desk. Like it's like I feel like my desk isn't even tiny, but it's so like it's kind of thin, you know. I need my desk to have more like depth so I can put more things in front of me. But I don't have enough space for like the tablet and the keyboard and a monitor. And then also my mic is here and my VTuber camera is here. Yeah, the tablet takes up so much space. I bought I'm using the, what is this? The Huion Canvas 16. And the Huion, I was like, oh, 16 inches, like, probably will not take up that much space on my desk. And it does. It does take up, it's literally so giant. I realized, like, I had to move my, my work my work setup to a different desk completely because I was like, I can't have my work and like personal streaming stuff all in the same thing. I have a drawing tablet, but my keyboard is just large, so I have to push my keyboard back when I use it. Yeah, it's still like, that's why I used my iPad for so long, because it was such a pain to like have a nice setup. Because the iPad is so easy, you can do it you can draw anywhere. But it was starting to like feel like I was literally being held back by the iPad. So that's also like, I think it's a skill diff. Because I know you can do like amazing things with the iPad. I've seen the people do the amazing things with the iPad. It's just so much easier to do the iPad, like, it's not so much easier to do the amazing things like on a nice like program like Clip Studio Paint. Mine's like a pad with a stylus that hooks with. No, yeah, I used a lot of those when I was younger. That was like my first tablet. I had like a bamboo, a Wacom bamboo tablet. Yeah, Kritia is a nice program. I don't know how to pronounce it. Krita. I've like tested it out. I also played around with it because it was I played around with it because Ina from HoloLive did like a whole sponsored stream with it. And I was like, ooh, I wonder how this is. And I have to say, it's pretty impressive for a free program. I think it's got everything you would need. Oh, yours of the Wacom too? I think most people tend to get those. That's kind of like the brand. But nowadays, I think, an XP pen. Yeah, there's like, you're either a Wacom, you're a Huion, or you're an XP pen. Like, those are like, I think those are the three big dogs of like, tablets. So I think Wacom is getting phased out. Well, it's not really getting phased out, but I think people are not as big on buying them as they were back in the day. I feel like when I was looking for a graphic tablet, when I was like in 2010, all people suggested were Wacom tablets. That was everything. Because this didn't really exist, and I don't think XP Pen existed too. But now they don't have much of a monopoly on the scene, so these are just these are really expensive. You can get such much cheaper ones with XP and Huion. Which is good. Accessibility is good. Increased accessibility of products. I think it is crazy though. I've seen so many new artists, like young artists. They're like, I grew up, my first tablet was like just a bamboo tablet, which was like, little thing with like no screen, barely functional. It's like $40 or so. And nowadays I feel like people are already getting like, they get like iPads as beginner artists, and like the display tablets, the ones with screens on them, and they're just starting out. I'm like, oh my lord, you guys are starting out with some heavy material already. Yours was like $30 when my parents bought it for me. Oh, that's a nice gift. Honestly, like, I feel like I know so many people with kids now, and they always like they ask me like, I have a kid who likes art. What should I give it? What should I give him for his birthday? And I go, just get him a graphic tablet, drawing tablet, and I like link them like a cheap no screen one. And then the parents always tell me they loved it so much. How did you know? And I'm like, I know what a 9-year-old anime artist person wants. those kind of tablets, those cheap ones, they're really good to start off with. They're very easy and accessible. Though I think it's a bit of a skill to learn how to draw on the ones without a screen, especially to master how to look at your screen while also drawing. That was like a learning curve for me. It was hard to not want to stare at my tablet with no screen. I mean, that's just how you draw, right? Like when you're even especially even on with paper and pen, you're just looking right at the paper and you're just drawing real carefully. But then you can't do that. You have to go look at the monitor. You have to look at the monitor while you're drawing. And it was always just a hard thing for me to do. Though now I don't have to worry about that at all. Also, we have an ad break coming up. Ad break. My sister would always try to take my graphic tablet because she wanted to learn how to draw too, and she hated using the one without the screen. She would just get so frustrated. Be like, this makes no sense. Why do I have to look at the monitor? I want to just look at the screen. She's like, why don't you get the one with the screen on? And I'm like, well, you have screen display tablet money? Mind you, back in the day, and it was so expensive to buy the ones with the display screen. The technology was not there to make them accessible. The only people that had the ones with the screen were actual studio workers. I'd get so jealous. Little 12-year-old me on Tumblr, I would look at the people posting their studio setups, and they've got this giant Wacom tablet. And I'm like, oh man, I wish that was me. I can't wait to go into art, the animation industry, and then they give me one of those. And then I didn't. Then I just bought my own. Also, even back in the day, thinking about art things, I remember the grasp, the visceral grasp that Paint Tool Sai had on me. I was so obsessed with using Paint Tool Sai. I wouldn't use any other program except Paint Tool Sai. And I think Paint Tool Sai, thinking about it in present year, it's a really good tool. It's a really good program. You can do a whole lot of crazy things on there. So I would always get annoyed. Little me would get so angry when I would watch tutorials on how to draw on DeviantArt, and they say, I drew this in Paint Tool Sai, and then edited, and after rendered stuff, edited it in Photoshop, and I'd be like, I don't have Photoshop. And how am I supposed to do all those funny effects that you're doing? I get so mad. I'm like, I can't use any of this. That's not fair. It would be so annoying. Welcome back from the ad. Nowadays, I understand, though, why you would have to use Photoshop or something more powerful to do any of that editing they talked about. There's just no, so there's so many nice tools in, well, nowadays you don't even have to use Photoshop. I think Photoshop is pretty deadgers for like for people, like for artists. I haven't heard of a single artist that uses Photoshop in present day. There might be, like maybe like artists from who are still like who have been indoctrinated by Adobe since they've been using that for their whole life. I always wanted to learn how to use Photoshop, the program, and it was always way too complicated for me. So I think now that I use Clip Studio Paint, it probably is not as bad. I think a lot of the tools that you use in Clip Studio Paint are akin to what you get in Photoshop. But I'm sure there's even like more powerful tools, like editing tools that maybe you don't have. Maybe that's not as easily accessible in Clip Studio Paint that might be in Photoshop. I don't know. I don't pay Adobe money. Adobe is just way too expensive. I also hate them for starting the software subscription trend where you have to pay like monthly to use software. Like, what a joke. I remember when we used to own things. We used to own the software. Those were the good old days when you could buy something and you owned it. Now you just have a license to it. How have things changed so much? Even I was disappointed when Clip Studio Paint even kind of changed, like started to change that. Yeah, and games are similar too. You have licenses for games, and even every time it's crazy. Like when you buy things in a game, like for microtransactions or like any whatever. You don't even own those things that you buy in game. It's just like it's called like they just like the terms of services says you're just like borrowing them. You don't actually own anything you buy in game, which is wild to think about. But I guess that makes sense. You don't own the game either, so why would you own the things in the game? It's not very consumer friendly. But I guess who cares about consumers? Consumers? Who cares? Wow. It's picking up that airplane very loudly. So many airplanes. Don't know where they're going. It's crazy that we just live in a time with like the least amount of consumer protection. But then also it's not the most like consumerist time in history where we just like buy and consume so much. We're just always like, they're telling us to buy so many things. And then they don't even want us to own the things we buy. What's up with that? Angle is awkward. I forget like I can rotate the canvas. You know, that sounds weird to say, but it's because when I like draw on my iPad, I would literally just rotate it. I would literally just rotate my iPad when I need to like do something regarding moving. Let's do some phagocytosis. There might be a lot of like phagocytosis to get through all of capitalism. To get through all of society's capitalistic nature might be a lot of phagocytosis. Perhaps maybe a little too much. I think we'd run out of energy. Fortunately, it's not unlimited. I can rotate the canvas. Just like that. You had to Google what the term was? Oh, don't worry. There's so many different terms for... There's a lot of terms for like endocytosis and stuff like that. The terms in biology are just way too much. I think that's why a lot of people struggle with like their general biology class in university can be really difficult because it's just a lot of memorization. It's not like you don't really learn, like you can't use your intuition to get by. Like if you don't know what phagocytosis is, that's just it. GG. How are you gonna answer the exam question? That's good. I'll do this hair on him. But me personally, I just love learning the terms. Kind of like learning a language. I always compared the general bio classes with like a language learning class. You're just basically learning a lot of vocabulary. You just have to learn how to speak the language. Can't really brute force it. You like learning the terms as well? Yeah. I think it's like a hit or miss, depending on what kind of student you are. I knew a lot of students that they hated classes like that, and they preferred things that you can work out. Like if you know the concept, you can work out how to solve problems, like math related things. Like if you know how to do derivatives and they give you a derivative problem, you can do it because you know the concept of derivatives. Those kind of classes were never as interesting to me. If they're math related, just the math. I was just never very good at math. The way some people talk about math, though, I feel like, I don't know, their brain is just wired differently. Maths are evil. My brain is, I feel, I always, it might be a bit of an excuse to say my brain doesn't feel like it's wired to do the math, but gosh, I feel like I can't grasp math like some people do when they talk about it. Just let me use the dang calculator. I don't know, like I think it gets worse when you realize the calculator is not even helping you anymore. I just like you use the calculator and it's like this isn't like I don't know these concepts. Like I don't know what I don't remember what the cosines, the tangents, and the sines. I don't remember like what they do. Math just hard. Not my strong suit. So if anyone ever needs math help, I would not recommend coming to me. So you can come to me and we can work on it together. I would support you, you know. Geometry that I'm oddly good at. Geometry was a class I really struggled with. I still don't know what's going on in geometry to this day. You tell me something about angles and like I don't know. I don't know how I passed my geometry class. Probably shows you how much like learning actually went on if I can't tell you how to do any kind of geometry. Algebra that I struggle with. I think I understood algebra way better than geometry, though I know algebra can get harder. Most math you learn, 90% of people never use again. Yeah, but I don't think that's like a good excuse. Most things 90% of people don't use again, so but I think learning is still good. It's just good for your brain. It's good to be well versed in many topics. I wish I was better at math, but I just am not. I did not put the time in. My geometry teacher said the people who struggle with algebra are gonna I do like visualize it, which I've heard a lot of people say like who are good at math say like, oh, I visualize a lot of stuff in my head and I don't know what they're talking about. There's like when I think of math, my brain is blank. Like I don't think there's nothing going on in my brain. But I also don't have any like maybe it's because I have like aphantasia. I don't see images in my brain. So maybe that's why I like don't really get geometry. Like there's nothing going on. Like I don't see a shape. It's just gray. Head empty. Only spin. Yeah. Just head emptiness. Like I can tell that I'm thinking about a rectangle or a triangle, but that doesn't do anything for me. Yeah, I don't have that. I talked about it on Twitter, but when I like think of something, I think in like I don't see a single thing. I feel like I can taste something, I can feel it, but I can't see it. And it ends up like a lot of things have like taste because of that. But no visual images in my brain. My brain is just a question mark. That's 2 question marks. I'm jealous of people that can like think visually. I feel like I struggle sometimes with drawing because I can't visualize what I want. I can feel what I want, but there's no actual imagery in my head to go off of. There's also that interesting study not that this applies to me because I can't even visualize anything. It's something about how men are able to rotate and like look at shapes, but women are less likely to have the ability to rotate shapes in their brain. And I always thought that was like a funny, something interesting. Even if I could see shapes, maybe I wouldn't even be able to rotate them. I'm gapped, gender gapped brain. I am already rotating shapes in my brain. He's rotating shapes in his brain right in front of me. Well, I have nothing going on. The nerve, the absolute nerve. Yeah, that was one of the conclusions that that was one of the conclusions the paper came to, was it might be a reason why men are more dominant in engineering fields and like mathematics related fields, because they're able to rotate shapes and like understand shapes in their brain. I was like, damn, that's crazy. You took engineering as a high school elective? Wow. That was definitely not something I offered. Maybe I understand geological process as well, because I understand shapes. It all comes down to shape understanding. Yeah. You know, it's interesting that there's like a biological explanation about. Yeah, that's true. I do remember that. You're right. It was a STEM. That makes sense. You had an engineering class. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's interesting. There's maybe a biological factor of why, like, rotating shapes in brain, because I would feel like they always say like women are more visual types of learners. Then what do you mean I can't? We're not visualizing shapes and rotating shapes into our brain. I wish I could rotate a shape in my brain. All boils down to evolutionary psychology. Yeah, that's. You understand shales well. Don't worry. I'll pretend I didn't see the shake part. Or maybe you understand shale, shakes, and shapes. All three of them. This is. Used to be an auditory learner. Now I'm very much a visual learner. I'm trying to think. I think I'm much more of a. I have to look at something nowadays to like learn. It's hard for me to like pay attention just purely through like listening. But it's more like I feel like I get easily distracted if there's nothing to look at, and so if you just like lecture me through lecture me only and talk to me, I probably will have a hard time just remembering what you said. I feel like I was much more of a visual. Yeah, I feel like I'm now much more of a visual learner. I mean, and like as a kid, I would like sit around and listen. Maybe my attention span is like at an all-time low or something. Maybe I'm experiencing brain rot. Maybe I need to put like Subway Surfers while I do anything, so so people make sure they're looking at the screen. Yeah, I feel like my attention span is... It's honestly so bad nowadays. I will pick up my phone, put it down, and then pick it up just like a minute later. And I go, why am I doing this? Most people don't understand that absolutely every piece of technology to include the word is all new. Humans are 200... that's true. It is very new in the grand scheme of how long things have been around. I do think the shorts, honestly, whoever developed shorts, like the short form content, that person, like, they like cracked the code of like human psychology. I guess it was like kind of on its way there already. Yeah, it's like predator. It's predatory psychology. It's insane. Like, I know we were kind of close to... We were in the earlier days, like 10 years ago, we had Vines, which were like literally the 5-second clips. And that was like a different... I feel like that was a different level of brain rot than we have nowadays. I feel like because you would think 5 seconds would do way worse psychological damage. But I feel like these 30-second to a minute like content is way worse. Maybe it's because you can actually pack in information. It's not just a joke. It's not just a punchline. I say information, quote unquote. Can they undo it though? I think that's like a Pandora's box situation. I don't think they're ever gonna undo it. It's hard, like, they can undo it and someone's just gonna do it again. That's why they're like, if you look at like any website, like social media website, they've all got their own kind of what is it, like shorts format. Like there's Instagram Reels, there's YouTube Shorts, there's TikToks, even Twitch. Like you can upload like short form content, which is so like stories. It seems like the further we get from the olden days, the more unhappy people get. Yeah, perhaps it's time for us to go back to being medieval peasants and farm grain. Ditch technology. Go back to serfdom. Let me just like farm my whole life. Die in my 40s from, I don't know, miscellaneous infection. Perhaps life would be better. If YouTube didn't copy TikTok with the shorts, I think I would have been fine since I don't use TikTok. It was just inevitable though. Everyone wanted a slice of the TikTok pie. Everyone wanted what TikTok had. And even if TikTok were to die now, it's just too late. It's too late to do anything. The damage is done. My poor brain though. I feel like there's surely things to do to improve attention span, but it's so hard though. It's hard on purpose. Oh, hey, I'm trying to give advice on how to stop this. No, we both have brain damage. I swear. Like, maybe I should just... It's hard though, because like when you're a content creator, like I feel like it's hard not to make shorts. But I'm also contributing to like the decline of attention span by making shorts. They're so effective though. It's insane like how much more like growth you can get making shorts. Like, what's the percentage of people on some sort of psychiatric drug? Yeah. I mean, that definitely has. I mean, that's gone up like 100% for sure. Legal meth. I think a lot. There are a lot of people on legal meth. Don't bonk me, Twitch. Ow. Okay, I deserve that one. You got me there. You got me. You got me there. It's always like a hard topic to navigate with like medication. I think there are a lot of times where people might be overprescribed for things that they don't necessarily need medication for, and that's not good. It's not good to just throw people on medication. And then there's also a lot of good medication out there nowadays to help with a lot of issues, like you said, with like hormonal imbalances. We've gotten so much information. Like, we did a lot of good research to understand how to tackle these problems. Just some unfortunate, like, side effects there. You don't even like it yourself. Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who, like, they swear by, like, their medication. They don't like when they are unmedicated. It's very dangerous for them. According to the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey 2015 to 2018, approximately 17.7% of women aged 18 years and older are reported using antidepressant medications, and 17.7%. That's a lot. Wow, I did not know that percentage was so high. I'm curious what it's like now, because I feel like there was quite a shift from 2018, like now 2018 to now. Especially when you consider there was like a whole pandemic in between that era. I wonder if it's gone up. Surely it has. Yeah, a lot of those issues, they can be like inherited. We're not really sure on like the genetic mechanisms involved in that though. And it's tricky. It's really tricky to navigate, like unraveling genetic mechanisms involved with traits like depression or autism, like mental health issues. You don't want to accidentally eugenics, you know. No, it's not like I'm not even trying to be funny. It's just like it's unfortunate it can get that way. My depression made me nearly flunk 10th grade. Oh, that's very sad. I thought I turned you off, Symmetry. Past 10th grade, barely. I'm pretty thankful. I guess, like, my mental health, for the most part, has always been relatively stable, aside from times when I think external factors really motivated me to be depressed. But I've never really had, like, physical reasons. Like, my brain hormones, they're pretty kind to me. Don't love this. Okay. I take a lot of time to myself. Yeah, I think medication and treating yourself is like a good way to keep yourself regulated and checked. Hello, hello. Yeah, I imagine it would probably be really hard to find a study like that in current day. Also, with the current administration taking down, like defunding a lot of these programs, I don't know if we would see anything either because of that. Though I could also see that I could see it the other way. They might want to do surveys like that to like show like, look, I don't know, something with their own narrative, twist it to whatever narrative they want. But yeah, I am thankful for my healthy brain. My brain is kind to me. And I wish other people's brains were kinder to them too. Airhead soft-filled bites. I feel like it's been forever since I had like candy. I kind of crave. Maybe I should buy. Zeno, how could you? You come. I'm sorry. I deserve that. You know. It's okay. You can damage my brain. You can damage my brain. I'll join you guys. Lockdown should most of science is bought for and paid for. Yeah, there was a lot of unfortunate controversies during the lockdown. It's done a lot of damage to how science is even perceived now. I'm thinking about candy, and I can't visualize the candy in my brain, but I can taste the candy, and it tastes sour. And I would like some now. I really want sour candy. I feel that's something I have not eaten in a long time. Maybe I'll buy like a giant bag of Sour Patch Kids. Ooh, maybe I'll get those nerd gummy clusters. I really like those. Your mom loves those. They're so good. Oh, frickers. Frick! I didn't symmetry. Time to undo everything. The Who rep that wouldn't say Taiwan was. Oh, I remember that. It's crazy to think how like that feels so long ago now. It really wasn't. I mean, I guess it's been like 5-ish years. So maybe you can consider that a bit like a long ago, but I don't know. It still feels kind of unreal that that was what we went through. I like distinctly remember when all the nonsense, like all the shenanigans, like all the news started like spreading about like there's gonna be lockdowns and like everything's like frick-fracked. I was like, oh wow, I'm living through this. That's crazy. It was also like not a great time for it to happen. I just remember going like, hey, I'm supposed to go start doing my lab rotation in grad school. How am I supposed to do that, guys? . It was so awkward doing science during the pandemic era. It was so annoying having to say like, "Hey, can you like I'm signing in the lab for like I'm signing in for this room for a few hours. Can you please make sure you're not there? Thank you." And no one would listen. They'd be like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that the time flew by this fast." I'm like, buddy. Buddy. The rampant double standards are going to be locked down. Yeah, there was a lot of issues with how they handled literally every aspect of the lockdown. I blame Andrew Wakefield. Yeah, it's definitely. I think he's done a lot of harm, but there's been it doesn't help. There's a lot of there's other people with professional licenses and doctorates who have said equally terrible things. It's just unfortunate because the problem is there's usually money involved with like peddling that kind of narrative. There's like a dog barking so loudly outside. Always follow the money. Yeah, a lot of times I've learned that people aren't usually evil, or you can argue they're evil for following the money. That up to you. Like that's personal digression. Most people are just like motivated by money. Like they're not thinking much besides that, which is sad. Yeah, I heard about the autism registry thing. It's really terrifying. Yeah, I'm sorry for like anyone, like I just can't believe that's something that's even being suggested. It's insane. The ADH labor camp thing is I honestly, it's hard to tell like what to even take seriously anymore. Like I feel like it's like about overwhelming people with so many different narratives and statements that nobody knows like what's real, like what's actually gonna happen and what's not. I remember the random parking lots. Those were so crazy. And it would be so like it would be really, I remember it being really annoying where I lived because of so many of the parking lots, they were just so tiny and they were not fit for these kind of like operations. And then you just get turned away and then you have to go to a different parking lot and it's like, oh my gosh. So poorly handled. Also, as a person that would walk to these like parking lots, they were not very safe too. There's like so many cars everywhere. Ask your doctor, yeah. Honestly, I stand by more of like stand by, like, ask your doctor for, like, anything. Obviously, some people, though, they don't have that great of a doctor, or their relationship with their doctor is not that good. Some people don't even have doctors. I know a lot of people. There's like an overwhelming trend with, I think, people like millennials who just don't have a PCP. No primary care physician. They just are surviving out there on vibes. First shot caused me a lot of pain because, oh no, whenever I've gotten a COVID shot and a booster shot, it's caused me so much. Like, I get like a fever and everything. My body never has reacted well. I am like out of it for a whole weekend anytime. We're always recommended at my job to like get the boosters, and so like whenever I prepare for that, I just like go like, yeah, I'm gonna be getting it on a Friday, and then I'll be dead all weekend. It's only the first shot for me, not the booster. Yeah. Also, I guess every booster I've gotten it with my flu shot, and you know, the flu shot already is a pretty nasty one. I always get like really sick when I get the flu shot, so it'd be like a double whammy. I never get sick from the flu shot. I'm always super sick from the super duper sick from it. I think it's, but then I'm not someone that gets sick that often. You hated the big government push for get back. I think I think the get vax push was important. I'll say it was really important to make sure people were getting vaccinated. I think there was other problems though of like communicating the necessity of the vaccine. I think it was poorly communicated what an mRNA vaccine was. I knew a lot of scientific communicators and scientists online. There was a lot of like making fun of people for not being educated on the matter. Like, there's a lot of jokes about like, oh, you don't know what an mRNA is, LMAO. That's like, everyone has mRNA. It's like, okay, I get it. You want to dunk on these people real bad. You want to dunk on people, and we all want to dunk on people. You see this on social media all the time. Everyone wants to dunk on somebody. You gotta be kinder and like educate these people about what they're doing. I want people to get vaccinated. I think vaccines are important. And I also wanted them to know what a vaccine is. Don't dunk on people for being actually dunk on them for being a bad person. I mean, I preferably don't want to dunk anyone. I think if someone's a bad person, like especially online, you should probably don't give them any attention, is the moral of the story. I think we give people too much attention, and then they continue to do bad things. That's how people like are able to like follow the money when it comes to having weird stances, because you can make money having attention nowadays. I've been stuck drawing this like pigtail for like ages. trying to think about how it would look when I rig it. Because like I'm looking at my own hair, like my own pigtails right now. I guess I do have to draw it in the back. Sorry, I am like locked in trying to figure out how to do this. Thank you for the head pat. What I saw during the lockdown was a rampant growth of tribal and people loading their real. I definitely saw a lot of that too. I think that mindset also hasn't even like changed much. Might have gotten like, I feel like this like us and them mentality is even like the worse it's been. It just keeps getting worse. Things have not been getting better. I made some good friends during lockdown. Yeah, I had a like. I always feel bad saying I had a good lockdown because there's some people who had like. There's some people who had very, very terrible lockdown experiences for very justified reasons, but I would say I had a good lockdown experience because I just played I just played games mostly. But there's lockdown was the Maple, yeah. That's when the Maple Story arc was going on. It's crazy to think it was that long ago now. It doesn't like. And Maple Story has like, it's crazy. I think about Maple Story specifically. Oh, have fun with. Yeah, thank you for hanging out with me, Vito. Have a tasty dinner, and I will hydrate. You spent too much time in that game. I've never been. I've watched people play Ark. Ah, thank you for the head pat, Zeno. Yeah, see, some people like it, the lockdown just never affected them. I like, we changed a lot of how we worked in lab, but for the most part, you couldn't work that many hours, so it was kind of nice for me. 2,000 hours. What? I probably have that many hours in Maple Story when I think about it. I don't want this to be here, actually. And not just like shipping. Like the people that worked in the front lines, like healthcare workers, I felt like when I hear about what they went through in the lockdown, it's like, okay, yeah, I don't want to brag about having a good lockdown. Some people went through a lot. I think that's why some people like are pretty tone deaf. I've seen this on like Twitter. People will talk about like, I miss the lockdown so much. We should like go back to that era. I'm like, I don't know. I don't. I don't think that's what we should be saying. That's not what we should not say that. But I also understand where they're coming from. I think a lot of people, that was their first time they really felt like they had nothing going on and they got to focus on hobbies and like their interests. It's just two sides of the coin. Yeah. For me, for lockdown, I was stuck outside of school as it hit towards the end of my freshman year of high school. Oh. The social aspects of that are pretty interesting to think about. Like I know high schoolers and younger people who went through the pandemic. I feel like they experienced something like in their social development that is very unique. And it will be interesting to see how that like plays a part in their development. COVID saved my butt actually as I failed Algebra 1, but because of it, a bunch of my grades that I couldn't make up were put as excuse. I've heard that from other people too. They like were thankful they went through COVID because it helped them with their grades because they were able to say excuse. Kind of funny. Yeah, I don't mean like, I think people idealize the lockdown because they just there's just been no other time in history where they've been able to just relax like that. I hope like there's maybe, but the lockdown is probably not the solution they want. I don't think they even know what they're asking for really. I'm trying to think like, because I was in grad school during COVID, but I don't think any of my classes got like an excuse. I think mm, it's a hard topic to navigate. Yeah. In high school, well, I know people in undergrad also got excuses for their grades. I think the lockdown, it's just a tricky thing to navigate. I mean, it's such an unprecedented moment in our modern history. It's good. I think it is like time to wind it down so I can start getting dinner. So I'm just gonna stare at my drawing now while I think about dinner. I don't think I could be in lockdown now because I am a much more social person than I was back then, and I need to get out of the house regularly. Yeah, I think it was interesting to see. There was a lot of people who I don't think realized how much they hate being inside their house. There's so many people that talked about like, I hate being inside my house for like more than a day, but I was like, oh, it's whatever. It's whatever to me. Those are not the aspects I cared about. Yeah, it sets an interesting precedent. Well, it's just a matter of like, would they actually do that again? Who knows? I mean, there is a precedent though now. And yeah, you're right. Like, they could easily just enact it. But I would want to think better, but you know, who knows? And who knows anymore? It's hard to say. I don't know if like, I hope we never have to do something like that again. Back then it was fine. It's just I've changed since then. Now I need social interaction. I feel like most of my social interaction is still mostly online, but that's because I work from home. My regular interaction day to day with people is probably like when I go walk to the bakery and I say hi to the person, like to the cashier. I could do without. I'm okay if I don't have that. But I know some people are different. Yeah, I also know it's like different if you live with people in your home. I think because I live alone, I'm used to living alone. I'm good. I'm good for a while. Okay. I'm getting hungry, so I think I'll call it here. I have a stream tomorrow. I think I'm playing Lunar Legends, but we might not play that. We might do more art stream. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I have the Lunar Legends put up, but we might just do more art and yap. Yeah, goodbye guys. Goodbye. Yeah. So I'll see you tomorrow at the same time if you can make it, and if you can't make it, that's okay too. Thank you for the headshots. Hey, thank you for hanging out and stopping by, and I hope to see you guys again. Bye bye. Hey.